Hi everyone, it's Vicki. Welcome to my channel, and today I have what not to pack on a cruise. So I got a list from Cruise Critic in an email, and they often have like the top 10 this or the top 10 not to do kind of things, and that's what this was, things not to pack on a cruise. So I'm going to go through their list and compare it. If you've watched my channel for any time, you'll see I've done a couple of these where I take what Cruise Critic says, tell you my ideas, compare them to theirs, and then maybe add or subtract or whatever from their list. So let's get started now. Remember, these are my opinions and my experiences. Although some of it, when you start talking about prohibited items, are not my opinion. They're prohibited items. All right, so the first thing that Cruise Critic said was that there's no need to bring soap and other toiletries because the ships are usually equipped with, in your shower, you'll have a body wash and a conditioner, shampoo conditioner combination. At the very least, you'll have those two items. You may actually have shampoo and conditioner separate. You may also have bars of soap. Well, you almost always have bars of soap because that's over by the sink. But what I'm saying is the basics are taken care of. Now, when you get into nicer cabins, like if you get upgraded or you choose to purchase, say, a suite, or you're on a more luxury liner, the amenities increase. Not just what's available, but often the brands of them and the quality of them. So like when I've been on Holland and I've had the signature suite, they've had like cotton balls and Q-tips, things like that, and even little loofahs, the little loofah sponges. I've had, I think I've had bath salts too in one of them. That's stuff they mentioned. They mentioned colognes and sunblock. Cruise Critic does. I've never seen that on any of the ships I've been on, but maybe I'm not paying enough room to get sunblock and cologne. But anyway, if you have preferred toiletries that you use for whatever reason, especially like skin sensitivity or something, obviously you can bring them. It's not a problem. But what they provide you with is either in the shower, it's usually one of those things on the wall and you push it and it comes out. Around your sink counter, those items they will replenish every day if you use them. All right, so the second item they list is hair dryer, and that's very true. I've never been on a cruise yet where there isn't a hair dryer. Not to say that it's a powerful one or conveniently located or anything like that. Doesn't mean you're going to love it, but it will do the job. Sometimes I've heard that sometimes they're in the bathroom, like on the wall, which I tend to like to sit at a desk area, kind of like this, when I put on makeup or dry my hair or something like that. So, and sometimes they're in the drawer of the desk vanity area. And that's what I've seen mostly. And you plug it in yourself. Sometimes it's plugged in through there, and that's a pain because you can't get it very far. And if I'm going on a shorter cruise, like say 5 days or less, that's all I take. If I'm going on 7, 11, bigger cruise, I bring my Revlon volumizer one that's more of a wand. And the reason I do it is because it's really good at if you've been out all day, like you get sea hair or you get frizz on the ends like I can get. It's good. It only takes a couple minutes just to do the ends of your hair or just, straighten your hair. It works almost like a straightener or a curling iron, all of that. So I do bring that on longer cruises, but on a shorter cruise, I figure I'll just put my hair up. But in a longer cruise, it's just going to be, and you can see I wear my hair up all the time if you watch my channel. But on a longer cruise, there's just going to be probably more instances where I'll wear it down, and so I like having that. So that is something, and it's big and it's bulky, but so that's one thing I'm going to steer away from Cruise Critic and not really agree with them on that. I will agree with them that there's always one available as far as I know, but it isn't always one that I like. And some of theirs are so noisy. Not to say that my new Revlon one isn't, but but theirs are typically older school, loud ones. Okay, so the next item they mentioned is a clothesline. And I would have never even considered bringing this on a cruise, but yes, usually in the shower there is a little thing you can pull across and stick on the other side, and it makes a clothesline. If you put a bunch of things on there, or heavy things, especially when they're wet, they're heavy, it is going to sink it down, but it does do the job. I think they give you those in every room, or they're built in every room, I should say, because they don't want you hanging things over the balcony, especially if the ship's moving. You're not supposed to have anything go over the balcony into the, it can be fire hazards, it could be debris in the ocean, any of that. So they really don't want you putting anything on the balcony. So you really shouldn't put stuff out there to dry. Now, I have admitted to putting something on the back of the chair, but not while the ship was moving, only in port, because I already had the little hanger thing going. But I kept an eye on it, and we never were, moving, but it really isn't something you're supposed to do. All right, so the next item that Cruise Critic mentions are beach towels. And yes, there are towels around the pool. And for the most part, I don't bring beach towels. I think on our first Caribbean cruise, I may have, not knowing that. And then on our last cruise I did, because we had 2-day passes, one at the Mayan Princess Resort, and the other was at just a day beach resort, not a, no accommodations, just the beach and, pool and stuff. And they said on both of those to bring your own towels. So I actually brought towels. But sure enough, as soon as we got on the ship, there were 2 beach towels sitting on our bed. And those are not even the beach towels. You don't even use those towels at the pool. They have a different towel that you use at the pool. So I didn't need to bring them. In fact, as soon as I saw them, I just put our towels into our luggage, which once our luggage was emptied, went under the bed. So I never even saw our beach towels again until the night before the cruise ended when we packed. So you really don't need to bring beach towels. Because you can take those that they give you off the ship. And if I've been on ships like where they didn't give you towels in your room, when I've had a suite, they've almost always done that. But this last one on the Carnival Paradise, they did it, and it was there when I got there. And on Holland, sometimes they do it the day that you're going to go to their private island or something. But anyway, what I'm saying is that there's a different towel that they use around the pool than the towels that they give you in your room to use as beach towels. I don't know why, but they're different. They look different. So I'm sure there's a reason to that. Next is the dirty laundry bag. Now, Cruise Critic says, they state that there is a dirty laundry bag in your room and you can use that. And I've always thought that was for giving to them to do your laundry, but I guess you can take it, use it, and just take it with you if it's like disposable or plastic or something. Sometimes it's really a nice bag, like on Holland it's a nice, one I had was navy, and it said laundry or whatever, and embroidered on it with a nice rope closure, the whole thing. If you take something like that, they may charge you for it. But my husband always brings one, and it's kind of a meshy thing, and he always brings that. What I like to do, but I almost never do it 100% because I get busy or it gets to be, I don't know. But what I prefer to do is my luggage, one side is zippered and one side isn't. So I like to put dirty clothes on the zippered side once it's empty, just throw them in there and just pull the suitcase out from under the bed if I have room to leave it open, and just throw it in there each day. And then when you go to pack, all I do is close the zipper and all my dirty clothes are on that side and everything else can go on the other side. It is one of those best laid plans that doesn't always come to fruition, but that's what I usually try to do. So, all right, so next is books. Cruise Critic mentions that don't bother, bringing a bunch of books because, the ships have libraries on board, and that is true. And some of them even have the book swap thing where you can take a book as long as you leave a book, that sort of thing. But that doesn't really always work, trusting their libraries. Some do, some don't, and let me tell you why. Like the last ship we were on, the Carnival Paradise, the library, it didn't have a ton of books. It had a lot of games and stuff, but they kept using that venue for all kinds of stuff. Like they were always having these chef's dinner things. They had private meetings there. They had different things going on. So I did not find the library that available. In fact, I went several times just to try to film it, and I couldn't get into the library. It was either for some reason closed and didn't say, or something else was going on. And I didn't film it till debarkation, when we used that as our place to wait until it was our turn to exit the ship. So, but then when we were on the Norwegian Dawn, they had a big, beautiful library, and it was actually accessible from from both sides. You know how a ship has, you know, on starboard side and port side, they have, port side, starboard side, they have, you know, rooms, hallways, passages, whatever. And the library was in between, and it opened to both sides, so you could get there from either direction. And it was a nice, like I say, a nice big library. So that's that. Even with that, the library doesn't work for my husband, because he goes to our library, public library, and he actually checks out books. He's old school. He has used a Kindle a little bit, but I think he just likes the hold the books. Plus, he likes a lot of the brand new releases, and so they're never going to be there. That's not going to be what he's going to find in the library. Isn't what he's looking for. You know, he's looking for Neil Stevenson. He's looking for, there's a dog at the door. I bet it's Minnie. But anyway, I prefer to listen to books. I like to just close my eyes and listen to a book or listen to music more than to actually read and hold a book. So for us, you know, I bring my book on, it's on my phone. I have Audible app, and so that's how I do it. And husband brings a library book. So anyway, I guess it just depends. I mean, if you're open to reading other books, and I noticed, like, on the New Amsterdam, the first time we were on, I had a, you know, library area within that, what's it called? Not the Crow's Nest, Explorations Lounge and Cafe. Are up there, and it had a designated library area. Now I notice they've opened the area up more, and the books are just spread throughout that area. And what I noticed when I was there, it did have a lot of interesting books. They had almost what I call tabletop or coffee table books, where you could look through and see, I don't know, different destinations, you know, just great photography type books. So those are fun to look at, and it's not the same as reading a novel, but they're definitely fun to look at. So there's that too. You know, even if I think I wouldn't read a book, I did look at a few of those types of books. Okay, number 7, according to Cruise Critic, are snacks. It says if there's one thing ships have, it is food. And you can pretty much find something to eat any time of night or day, it says. That's true, but there are certain times where things do get more limited. I run into that most on the Brilliance of the Seas, which I've been on 2 or 3 times, maybe 2 times, that there are certain times of the day that there's not a lot of choice. If there is any choice, there's just not much. Usually there's soft serve ice cream 24 hours a day on a lot of ships, but anyway, but if you're, you know, worried about munchies, it says, then just, you know, stash some cookies from the buffet. And that's very true. I have at times after the show, we've gone and got some cookies and milk, and maybe we didn't even eat them there, but maybe we just took them back to the room for, you know, a 9 or 10 o'clock snack instead of eating them at 7 or 8 or something. Yeah, we don't bring any snacks on board unless there's something really special at a port. And a lot of times that is something that I really kind of want to bring back with me, but I may, you know, snack on it in the room just to try it out. I think a real good example is when we went to Costa Rica. There was a stores across the street and stuff in Limon, Port Limon? Yeah, Limon. And I got these guava cookies, and they're kind of a harder cookie, but they have these pieces of really chewy guava. They were so good. And I'm glad I bought several packages, because then I could, you know, bring some home and you can share them with people and stuff. But make sure if you get something from the port that it's like a commercially packaged item and that it's closed up. You can't bring any perishables, although I did end it with star fruit, because some guy gave me star fruit. I don't know what was going on with that, but anyway, it's a long story. But yeah, and you know, I brought back maybe some chocolate bars from some places that we've been, and coffee, but these are all commercially packaged, and I've never had trouble with a commercially packaged product. But you know, it depends on the cruise line, but for the most part, I've never had a problem with that. If you were to, you know, bring a open box of donuts, I think you'd have a problem though, bringing that. All right, so the next is booze. Most ships don't allow you to bring wine or liquor. I almost always read the beverage thing, the prohibited section, because I do like to bring water and soda. And I think for the most part, you can bring a bottle of wine or champagne, or one bottle per person or one bottle per stateroom or whatever, but they will charge you for that, to open that for you and to serve that to you at dinner. Some you can drink it in your room, some you cannot. I think the next cruise that I was just booked some celebrity cruises, and I think you can, if they're in your room, I don't think they even charge you a corkage. But I could have read it wrong, but I don't think they charge you a corkage, but a lot of them will. I know you can't bring beer. And the last cruise we were on the Carnival Paradise, you could bring soda and water, but they had to be in cans or cartons. It could not be water. So you could not bring a plastic water bottle, and you couldn't bring a plastic bottle of Coke. And almost every cruise line I've been on, if you're bringing something, it has to be in your carry-on luggage. It cannot be in your check-in luggage. So you need, and rules change, things change. So be sure to read and see what your particular cruise line is doing. They do sell beverage packages. Not being a drinker, that isn't appealing to me, because the prices are, can be very high for someone who drinks a soda a day. So, and I personally just like the convenience of having it in my room, because when I have had the soda package, and we've done that, I'd say about half the time we have it, or you can order water and sodas delivered to your room before. But when we've had, and when you get on the ship, they'll just be right there. You'll have your 6-pack or 12-pack, whatever. There is a limit to how much you can bring, by the way, if you do bring it on board. And I think it was 6 or 12 per person. I can't remember now if it was 6 per person for a total of 12 or 12 per person. But anyway, that was what it was. That was the limit. But we have had drink packages before, and if I wanted a soda, it required me to go to the bar and get a soda. They might give me a can with glass of ice, or they might just do the fountain type. But that's not convenient if I'm in my room and I don't want to put on enough clothes to go out there, and go to a bar and pick it up. Plus, in certain times of the day, not every bar is open, so you have to go find one. One thing I do like about, though, the drink packages, I'm kind of getting off kilter here, is that if they have the coffees, the specialty coffees, that's kind of nice, because I only drink decaf, and the regular decaf that comes with like the dining room and that sort of thing, and the Lido, if they have it there, is usually something I don't care for. And in fact, I'll drink tea in those cases usually. But anyway, so booze. Back to booze, right? All right, so the next item, it says number 9, is computer. It says, they explain that the ships have computer terminals. They usually do. They have they used to call them internet cafes, but not so much anymore. I don't see that term used as much. And they do have them, and I've used that once when I had time came with I think it was on the Norwegian Sun, I had, like 60 minutes of internet. Well, it turned out it wasn't internet I could use on my computer. I had to go use on theirs. But anyway, these days, I think I would prefer just to get an internet package if that's what I wanted to do. Otherwise, I often have brought my laptop with the thought of downloading the video that I've taken, maybe even editing it. While we're at sea, that sort of thing. But honestly, it never happened. I don't even know why I bring it, but I have. I probably will again in the future sometimes. It probably depends on how much luggage. Like when our next cruise is to Alaska, I don't think I'll lug it all the way up there, but yeah. But if I had lots of room, like, and can put it in my suitcase, yes. By the way, in your suitcase, never put your medication or any of your important documents, like your passport, your cruise voucher, anything. Don't put that in there, because they're going to take your luggage away, when you first check in, and then, or actually when you pull up, you give them your luggage before you even check in. So don't put it in there, just in case you don't know that. Just thought I'd throw it in. All right, so Cruise Critic says the next item you don't need is local maps. I can't imagine anybody going and getting a map of where they're going to be. I have bought bird books of where I'm going to be, but not local maps. They're almost always available from guest services they stayed, and they are, the ones I've seen really are oriented toward the port area in shopping, although it will give you a pretty good view of the whole area around the port usually, and I have used those in the past. But really, if I'm looking for something in particular, I just use my phone, because once I'm on land, I can plug into my T-Mobile 5G, and usually it's not 5G, it's 2 or 3G, or it says light and it's slow, but I can usually find whatever point of interest and, get directions and hit the directions, and it'll tell me how to walk there. So, but anyway, the ones that they give you, they can be helpful if you're not going to get too far away from the ship. I'm going to say they probably don't go more than 4 blocks from the ship. A good example is the one in St. Thomas. It'll get you to the street with all the jewelry. So, all right, so next on the list is a pillow. And I'm going to expand that to say your pillows, blankets, any of that kind of stuff. Unless you're super picky and cannot sleep on a pillow that they've given you, I agree. Why bring it? I actually sleep with 3 pillows, so I almost always have to ask them for an extra pillow. I put one between my knees, and then I'll get reflux sometimes, so I kind of stack pillows up and sleep more like that rather than that. But anyway, yeah, I don't really see the need to bring that sort of thing unless you're just really, that's the only pillow you can sleep with and you can't sleep without it. And, if you have allergies or anything like that, the room stewards will be glad to bring different types of pillows to you. I mean, my husband is allergic to feathers, so every once in a while you get a really nice room and they want to give you something special. They give you a down pillow. Well, that doesn't work for us. Just give us the old foam pillow, because I can't even sleep on a down pillow because it will bother him. So they're very accommodating. I've never had a problem with pillows. There was another YouTuber I used to watch. I don't watch anymore because of a big scandal. But I don't like to get involved with scandals, but she used to bring her own pillow and her own blanket, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? It's a lot of stuff to put in your suitcase, so I don't know. All right, so the next it says, the last one is exercise equipment. That rounds up the dozen at exercise equipment. And my answer to that is just no. Why? They have a gym full of equipment, yoga mats. I mean, I guess the only thing you would bring would be like those resistance bands or something like that. And I guess if you wanted to exercise in your room, but for the most part, they have a nice gym. And I have gone in the gyms, but that's not how I spend my time on a cruise. So, but I would like to add some items to their list of things not to bring. And I probably should have gone through them individually in each area that they kind of fit in. But I did touch on one, and that was prohibited items. And you might be surprised at what's prohibited on a ship. CBD. No CBD products. I mean, be sure on every cruise that you're planning on going on to read what these items are, because they can change, they can vary by cruise line, but they all look pretty identical in my experience. Or any marijuana products. Even if you have a medical marijuana card, they don't allow it. So just double check before you bring it, because that could be a big deal for you. You can't bring handcuffs, even if they're just for fun. You cannot bring handcuffs. You can't bring a steamer. You can't bring any kind of surge protector or, something that's supposed to give you more plug-ins. You're not supposed to do that. You cannot bring candles or anything with flames. No irons. If you want to iron your clothes, you need to go to their laundry or have them press it for you, which I've done lots of times. Those items are not allowed. A hot plate, anything that creates heat. The only thing I know that you can bring that's going to create heat is a curling iron or a flat iron. But I was a little disappointed when I found out the steamer, but then I just hang my clothes and do my best. People have wrinkled clothes on vacation sometimes. Another thing that I've known that people, and I see it even now on current videos, because I watch other cruisers' videos, but they bring things like their favorite toilet paper instead of the ship's toilet paper, which isn't the best toilet paper, or they bring flushable wipes. But what they're not considering is that those sewer systems on the ships are pretty temperamental, and they are not made to handle those items. They are made to handle their toilet papers designed specifically so that it does go through their systems easily. the toilets are made to handle human waste and their toilet paper. So if you want to be the guy that's clogging up the toilet, just remember, it's not just clogging you up, it's clogging up your neighbor too. And then they're going to have to come and fix it. For the most part, they can fix them from outside without coming in your cabin. But still, do you want to be the guy that every day or two you have to call and say, my toilet's clogged again? Because then they know you're up to something. So that's another item. Instead of candles, if you think, well, I have to have something for light or whatever, I've brought battery candles. You can bring a night light if you like. I have to have some kind of light at night, and sometimes the door, just depends on how your room is set up, will be just enough to get a light coming in from under the door from the hallway to where I can get to the bathroom, because I do get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I need some light, and I don't like turning on the lights because that's bright. And then I'll be completely awake. So we do have some little battery powered candles that we've taken before. They don't last. Each one of them doesn't last the whole trip. So I have 2 of them. So I just bring both of them, but I could just bring extra batteries too. I've known of people, especially on their first cruise, who are unsure, who've brought like towels and washcloths. And I don't know if they think that there aren't going to be any, or if they don't think they're going to be clean, or they don't like the idea that someone else has used them. I don't know what they are, but they do wash them. I can sometimes even smell, like I have smelled kind of a bleachy smell on them, so I know that they do clean them. And they'll refresh them every day if you want. I mean, all you have to do is, if you want clean ones, leave your dirty ones on the floor. If you want to keep them, then you put them on a hook or on the hanger, and then they won't touch them. They'll just replace the ones on the floor. So I don't see any reason to bring towels and washcloths. And Cruise Critic did not include that in there because they probably didn't think people do that, but I've known of people who've done that. So another thing that I've had in certain rooms on Holland America, anytime you get, I don't know if it's in a veranda, but it's definitely in a suite and up, they include binoculars, umbrellas, and like a stadium blanket in your room for, I guess, sitting outside, or probably because of Alaska cruises. But yeah, so I quit bringing my binoculars if I have a room that includes the binoculars. Okay, so one item that used to be prohibited, but now I'm reading that you can bring it on the ship, but you can't use it on the ship, but you can take it into port if the port allows it, but the port doesn't always allow it, is a drone. So you should read up on that before you bring a drone, because that's an expensive piece of equipment to have taken away from you and be in somebody else's hands for a while. Another one that isn't on the prohibited list, but I would tell you to be careful with, are Bluetooth speakers, because there are other people around you. Bluetooth earbuds would be a lot better choice than the speaker itself. But like in one of our rooms that we had on Holland, it had the Bluetooth speaker in the room, and that's where I would use it. Not like on the pool or something like that, where it would be, imposing on other people. Another thing you can bring, of course, is your pet. But I think he's thinking more, Cruise Critic was thinking more in terms of packing, but I just wanted to cover this. Pets can't come as service dogs. Service animals, of course, they can. And I have seen service dogs on ships. In fact, my trip to Cuba, I saw several of them, but most of the time I don't see them. And they have areas for them. I don't know all about it because I don't have a service animal, but they obviously have to, due to the Americans with Disabilities Act. They'd be breaking the law if they didn't, although they aren't American registered ships, but it wouldn't be friendly if they didn't either. And then I'm going to close it out by saying probably that, hangers, that was another thing. Your room does have hangers. I tend to, my hanger clothes, I just take them right out of the closet on the hanger and pack them like that, so I have hangers with them. So, but yes, your room does have hangers, so you may not have as many hangers as you want. Just depends on the ship, but sometimes it's easier just to take your clothes right on the hanger, right out of the closet on the hanger, and then just fold them up. And so I don't bring hangers on purpose, but I may bring clothes on hangers. So I'm going to close it out with cash. My husband likes to use cash. I like to use cards, but I would say there's no reason to bring an excess amount of cash unless you think you're going to spend it in the port, because everything on the ship is done through your account. You can put cash on your account, is my understanding. I've never done that. I've always just used my credit card, and I've always set it up before I even got on the ship. But some people, as soon as they get on the ship, go to guest services and put some money on their account for spending on board. But for the most part, ships are cashless and intended to be. So the money that, even in port, you can use your credit card if you're, comfortable with that. Some people aren't because it's other countries, but I've never had a problem, and you can easily dispute charges, and it's up to you. That's your call. Don't listen to me on that. That is your call. But yeah, I spend some cash in port and sometimes use a credit card in port. But for the most part, I don't carry a lot of cash on me. So I don't see a reason to pack a bunch of cash with me. So that is my summation of things that you don't need to bring with you on a cruise. And I want to thank Cruise Critic again. They're always sending these kinds of lists, and I think they're kind of interesting to go over and compare their list with my experience and how I feel about it. So if you like this type of video, please give me a thumbs up and tell me in the comments that you find it interesting. Or if there's something other cruise related kind of, it's going to be August before I go on a cruise again, so probably almost close to September before you see a cruise video. So I did book 2 new cruises, but they're not going to happen this summer. Summer cruises are really Alaska and European cruises. There is still some Caribbean, but it's kind of the same ones I've been on before. Not that I have any problem going on them again, but I'd rather wait after the heat of summer and maybe a little after hurricane season to go in the Caribbean cruises. I mean, I would go on them now, but why when I can go on them all year long from Tampa, right? But anyway, if there's anything in particular you'd like to see, a list of things, I think 2-pack, we just did not 2-pack, or etiquette, I don't know, anything about cruising that you would like me to cover, let me know, and maybe I'll do that in the future. Thanks a lot. Enjoy your voyage.